So today we're going to talk Mill. Mill has long been one of the most popular alternate win conditions in the game, but the modern iteration of Mill has been kind of iffy in terms of competitive meta viability over the past few years. However, recently Blue-White Mill finished third in a recent modern challenge back on New Year's Eve, and so today we're going to take a look at Blue-White Mill and see if it's really all that. So without further ado, hit a like on this video for the YouTube algorithm, and let's hop into the deck tech followed by the gameplay. If you don't know what Mill is pretty much the concept of taking your opponent's deck, taking cards from your opponent's library and putting them right into their graveyard. Because of the clause in Magic where if you were to draw a card from your deck and you have no cards in your deck, you just lose the game on the spot. So we run a bunch of cards that put cards directly from the library into the graveyard. The first one and best we have are two playsets of pretty much the same card. We have Hedron and Ruin Crab. These are just the best repeatable ways to mill our opponent that we have available to us, and they get super good with fetch lands. Like if you have two of these out, one fetch land mills them for 12, which is like what? A fifth of their deck with just one land drop? Like that's pretty freaking good. For the one-shot mill effects, we have Fractured Sanity, Maddening Cacophony, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, and Archive Trap. All these are pretty good on their own, but the best one is either Tasha's Hideous Laughter, because against some decks like Hammer Time, it can just mill like 20 cards from their deck because their curve is that low, or Archive Trap, because of course we can cast it for free. All our opponent has to do is crack a fetch land, wow, or hit tier 3 on Urza's Saga. So those are the one-time mill effects. The rest of the deck is pretty much cards that either remove our opponent's threat that they have on the board, counter it on the stack, or draw us more of our milk cards. For the first one that gets rid of things on the board, we have 4 Prismatic Ending, because we're playing white and modern, you know the deal, and 1 Repeal, mainly just as a tempo play that draws us a card. We're also running Remand, because the theme of our cards cantripping and drawing us a new mill piece is important to the deck, because we're kind of like Burn in the sense that we have to reach that critical mass of spells in order to mill our opponent out and win the game. The last couple cards in our deck are Consider, because it's a 1-mana cantrip that helps us find our spells that we need to find, and also Visions of Beyond, because if you're running Mill in Modern, you get to run Ancestral Recall, which is cool, I guess. For the mana base, it's Field of Ruin. This is our one colorless utility land, primarily to help us trigger the Archive Trap, because it makes your opponent search their library. Even if they fail to find, they still have technically searched their library that turn, so we get to cast a free Archive Trap. It also just kind of incidentally hits Urza's Sagas, which is something that we're interested in. We also have an Aboro. Hey, MtgGalaxy here. Just wanted to note that I didn't know the price of this card before editing this. And just get ready for yourself. 3, 2, 1. Ah! Alright, back to the video. In case we're in the late game and we need to bounce it to replay it with our crabs if we don't draw a land. And we also have a single Shelldock out, because they can sometimes just come in handy and get us a free spell. We have 8 blue fetches and 2 Hollowed Fountain to find with the fetches, and we also have a Watery Grave, primarily as just a third color for Prismatic Ending. The last lands we have in the deck are 5 islands and 1 plains. Be careful with the plains though, because if you want to hardcast Fractured Sanity, you have to have 3 blue sources, so pretty much just get plains off of the Field of Ruin if you really need that Prismatic Ending, like now, to kill a 1-drop. For the sideboard, we have a ton of graveyard hate in here. Because if we're milling our opponent, a lot of the modern decks can take advantage of different cards in their graveyard, like Arclight Phoenix, Dredge, a lot of the Lewis decks, Shadow decks, whatnot. So we have 6 graveyard-hating artifacts and 4 Soul Guide Lantern, 1 Tormod's Crypt, and 1 Nihil Spellbomb. The Watery Grave is also useful to draw off the Spellbomb. We have Profane Memento as a singleton, just for creature decks that push our life totals. So if we need that little bit of extra time, we can get that with Profane Memento. And also Blossoming Calm is here just against Belcher decks, Burn decks, decks that might target us a lot. We also have a bit more removal against creature-based decks, being Portable Hole and Path to Exile. Path is pretty much here just for Murktide decks, and Portable Holes primarily for Hammer Time, although they can be brought in against any decks that we feel might have permanent hate for us. The last sideboard card is our companion, Luris, because Luris is pretty much a free roll in this deck, kind of like Burn, so we'd be remiss not to run it. Admittedly, in all the matches I did play, Luris didn't come up a single time, and the only thing it can get back is Hedron Crabs, and I guess like graveyard-hating artifacts out of the board, but I mean, it's like Luris, so might as well free roll it, why not? So that's about it for this deck tech. Now, before we hop into the gameplay real quick, I went 4-1 in the league I did play with this deck, and one of the matches I played was against I tweeted this out, it was a Yorion Amulet Titan deck, and for games 2 and 3, they boarded in their entire board, and had 3 Endurance main deck, and I somehow won the match. Don't ask me how. But if I were to edit that, that was like a 30-minute long match. And if I were to edit it down, it'd be like 10 minutes and take up like a ton of the time in the video. But I think it was a pretty good match. So I uploaded it in full, no edits, to my second YouTube channel, MtgGalaxy, right down below in the description. So if you're interested in checking that out, feel free to click the link down below in the description. And without further ado, let's take a look at the gameplay. Alright, so we won the die roll. Choose Luris. Yeah. This plays. Holy crap, Seiko. Through a Luris deck too, so hopefully they don't push it. Esper Sentinel. So it's hammer time, cool. So we'll play a second crab and a fetch. Hit him for 6. And Seiko. Urza Saga. Stoneforge for a hammer. And pass. EOT, I'll crack for a tapped Hollowed Fountain. Mill him for more. Another crab? That's pretty good. So I can play a Flooded Strand, mill him for 9. 29 cards in the deck. I'm just going to go ahead and ending this Ornithopter now. Because, yeah. I'll just do it now. And you can draw your card. I'll crack this now, mill him for 9 more, and then Ancestral Recall. So there you go. So now if they crack a fetch, they lose. Sigarda's Aid. I'm down to just say hammer me. Yeah, I'll take 2. There's a Nexus. Feel the Ruin one time. Maddening Cacophony. Alright, so I get to ending the aid here. No. You can draw. So I wonder, I don't think we can sequence this in a way. Actually, check this out. I think we can just kill them here, right? So, yeah, check this out. So, they search with Saga, right? They get a Ginger Brute. Cast Sentinel. So right here I go trap you. What the fuck? Yeah, so apparently you have to hold priority in response to the Sentinel trigger if you want to have a chance to respond to it. What I was trying to do here is I was trying to cast Archive Trap, have the Sentinel trigger, because they had like, 15 cards in their library or something, and then cast the second Archive Trap, and then cycle the Fraying Sanity, so they would have 0 cards in their deck and then kill themselves via the Esper Sentinel trigger, which would have been pretty funny, but I guess Moto being Moto didn't let me do that. I'll just cycle this Fraying Sanity. I guess I have to hold priority or something. Alright, they just scoop it up. That's cool. So, against them, we bring in Path and Portable Hole and take out Remand. I will trim a Sanity and take out the 2 Consider. And run out like that. Ooh. I can't keep this 5-lander. This plays. Ornithopter. Cracker Windswept Teeth. For Godless Shrine, Thoughtseize me. I'll Archive Trap him in response. My hand's pretty weak now. They'll take probably the Portable Hole if I were to guess. Yeah. Ending's decent. I don't have any need to cast the ending yet, so I'll just play a Flooded Strand and take it. Maybe I should have played a Shock in case I drew a Crab. Probably would have been better, but there's a Saga. Play a Stoneforge. Get a Hammer. Or get a tapped Hollowed Fountain. We draw a trap. So I'll just go full burn mode. Shock in a Hollowed Fountain. And mill them for 8. Seiko. They hit me for 1 with hammer, or with Stoneforge, and then pass the turn. There's a Path. That's a great draw. I'll just play this. I'll play this tapped in Seiko. I'll get the trap them. I have a Path up for any creature. I'm not feeling too bad right now. They make a construct. They make another construct. Sure. They search for a card. So they're playing Core Outfitter. They get a Ginger Brute. Play a Shadow Spear. Swing at us for 7. I'll just take the 7 here. I'll trap them on end step. This should just kill them, right? In theory, this should just exile their whole deck. Yeah. Alright. GG's against Hammer Time. Lose the die roll. Unfortunate. Yeah. Hand's good. Island into Serum Visions. Is this Delver? They go top, bottom. Draw an island. That's pretty good. Let's play an island into Crab and Seiko. Play a land and pass. So they're holding up Counterspell. I'll just play a plains. Crack a flooded strand in response. So I have Remand up now. They get a shocked hollowed fountain. Oh, so they're a Jeskai Phoenix. Gotcha. Let's pass turn and hold up Remand. And I can cycle the Sanity on end step too. They Thought Scour themselves. And then consider. If they play a Morphos, I'm remanding at 100%. Okay, they put a consider into the graveyard. They shock a Steam Vent. And cast a Metamorphos. Alright, that's getting remanded. We draw Visions. And they pass. Archive Trap's pretty good. I'll play an Oboro. I can mill them for 8 and then hold up an Ancestral Recall. I think I'll just wait and hold up a Sanity. And then, of course, if they play a fetch, I can just hit them for 13 and then have the Ancestral Recall up. There's a fetch. Metamorphose, yep. There's a Demolich in the yard. I cast a Mending. I crack a fetch. Shock a Steam Vents. Cast a Metamorphose. Okay, so they get 2 Phoenixes and a Lich. Maybe 2. They bolt us. Okay. So they're gonna get 2 Liches here and 2 Phoenixes. There's the first Lich. There's the second one. Ending my crab. Go to combat. Get 2 Phoenixes back. And it hit me for 6. So I'll go down to 11. And cast another Demolich. Alright, I'll Archive Trap them. I'll Ancestral Recall. And do it again. They have 19 cards in their deck. Is that doable? If I had a second crab, they'd be dead here. So I'll just play a Delta. They have 6. Oh, no! If this was a... Damn it. Okay, so they're at a virtual 13. I could have got there if this was a blue land. So I can mill them for 8, 13. They're still at 3. I'm just going to cycle the Sanity. That repeal doesn't do any... let's go to game 2. So we get to bring in Spellbomb, Lanterns, and Crypt. And to take out the repeal. Probably trim 2 Tashas. A Remand. And the 2 Considers. And go to game 2. Alright, we go first. I'm just gonna mull this. I'd rather have a 1-drop or a... Yeah, this sounds way better. I will chuck a land. So I'll play a land into a crab and say go. I play a land. I'll play a land. They crack the Tarn. For tapped Steam Vents. Trap them real quick. So there's 2 Phoenixes and a Demolich. So I'll play the Lantern, exile the Demolich. They have 2 Demoliches. I should have done that after I drew 3. Fuck. Okay, my bad. So I had to crack it, put him to 20, draw 3, and then play the Soul Guide. My bad. New to the deck, sequencing problems. Into a Metamorphose, sure. So now I'll be able to recall. The ending my Lantern. I guess I'll crack this in response for an island. That is unfortunate. Alright, that is unfortunate. I'll exile each opponent's graveyard. They say go. Land, that's a bad one. Alright, play a Boro and say go. Actually, I'll just cantrip this Visions now. They played that well. Alright, ending, sure. They rebound the Calm. They play a Steam Vents. Play a Faithless Salvaging. Pitching a Phoenix. Gutshot my face. You get a Phoenix back. Sure. There's a crab. I'll just play this Hollowed Fountain tapped. Was I milling my... Oh my god. What the fuck? So apparently here, when I hit save targets on the Hedron crab, and they Blossoming Columns, I actually couldn't target them because it was an invalid target. So I had to target myself, which I guess isn't a big deal, whatever. But apparently, it saved the target to me for some reason. So, I don't know. Moto is just back on its bullshit, I guess. They rebound Salvaging, pitching an island. Serum Visions. Another Serum Visions. Head to combat. Swing for 3. Pass turn. Archive Traps these. Let's bounce a Boro. And then play it, hitting them. Say go. Metamorphose. Cast a Mending. Pitch a Salvaging and a Flood Strand. They bolt a crab. And then gut shot my face into 2 Demoliches. Or a Demolich. Yep. I'll take 3. Go to 8. Seiko. So this could win us the game? Let's try it. They have 1 card in their deck. So I get to bounce a Boro, then play it. Mill them out. And Seiko. Faithful Mending. Nice. Alright. Game 3. Ending is just bad, right? So I'll bring back in 2 Laughters for 2 endings. And bring back the Considers for the endings. Yeah. Yeah. We'll go like this for game 3. Yeah, it's a pretty good draw. No sideboard cards, but hopefully we can draw into one by cycling the Sanity. Play a Flooded Strand. Oh, I turn off Auto Yield just in case they crack this. They do crack it. Play Steam Vents. I think I'm going to wait on this Archive Trap, honestly. So here I'm not Archive Trapping because I'm playing Mill more like a combo deck where I'm trying to cast a rapid succession of spells to kill my opponent and mill them out instead of just get all the milling done as fast as possible. I'd rather not give them some free Phoenixes or Demoliches this early on. Alright, Remain's pretty good. I'll play an Island, then a Crab. Cast a Thought Scour on me. Archive Trap and Soul Guide Lantern. Archive Trap would have been nice to draw, not gonna lie. They take a draw step and pass. Interesting, that's a great draw. Now I play a Crab into a Flooded Strand. Demilich, a bunch of cantrips. I'll crack this now. Island. Mill them some more. So they have 3 Demoliches. So I guess I'll just exile the Mending. This is pretty diminishing returns. I'm just exiling one of the Demoliches, right? Take a draw step and pass back, alright? If I can find a Field of Ruin, that'd be great. Visions. Shock a Watery Grave. Mill them for 6. And there are 19 cards. That's annoying. Alright, they pass turn. I'll cycle Fring, Sanity. Then mill 4. We're drawing a Boro. That's decent. Oh shit! I should have Ancestral Recalled. My bad. Draw a Flutter Strand. Okay, so we're just pretty set here. They just kept an insanely risky hand, and it came back to bite him in the ass. I mean, I guess I should just Ancestral Recall here if I can find. Okay, never mind. I'll play a Spell Bomb and Seiko. So this one's pretty locked up. I scoop it up. We lost the die roll. That's a 60 card deck. Good. That's a good start for us. They're a Kahira. Oh, so they're control. Okay. This is bad. This is good. I feel like Tasha's is pretty bad in this matchup. Chuck back Tasha's. Oh, it's Harbelcher. Play Crab. So you go. We have triple Crab, which is pretty good. They say go. Interesting. Field of Ruin. Hello, Wasteland. Alright, play a Crab. Shocking a Watery Grave. Milling for 6. Play another Crab. Say go. Field of Ruin as Wasteland seems pretty decent. Okay, so they just pass. So we pretty much auto win game 1. Especially after Wastelanding the only land that they have. Yeah. Switch Charbelcher. What else did we see? Nothing too interesting. So we bring in Blossoming Calm. Tasha's is like terrible, right? So I'd rather have just like a couple of Graveyard Hate pieces over the Tasha's. Remain's great. Yeah, we'll try not like this. Yeah, this another matchup where Surgical would have been great. I'm gonna mull this. This hand plays. Ending is also like terrible. But like I really didn't. I mean, I guess I could have just brought in all the Graveyard Hate. I probably should have just brought in all the Graveyard Hate. Like, at least most of it cantrips. So I'll just keep this and chuck back the ending. Or one of the endings. This is a pretty, like, bad... I'm not going to say it's a bad matchup for us, but it's not ideal, certainly. Appeal is also, like, bad. We just have so many, like, dead cards. And, like, our sideboard... Did they keep another one-lander? What are they doing? Alright, Crab them. I'm good with repealing my Crab on end step if they don't play something worth remanding. What's happening? So play out both Crabs and play an Island, mill them for 6. They have Blood Moon, which is interesting. They pass. Pitch A, recross the paths. So they just kept like one-landers both times, hoping to draw another one, and they didn't. If we draw a Field of Ruin, game's pretty much over. They found a second land. Hollowed Fountain, that's decent. So I'll just shock this in and start hard casting my archive traps. Put them at 29. So there you go. I drew another land with Shatter Skull. My milling screws up. There were recross. Yeah, you can ritual. We're just supposed to let that resolve, right? And then we just remand the Charbelcher itself. The funny thing is, like, they also might not... Wait, let me see the exact... Oh, fuck, I don't get to see Charbelcher. Because I think they just can't reveal enough cards to kill us with the Charbelcher, which is pretty funny. Yeah, so what I'm saying here is that Goblin Charbelcher actually reveals cards from the deck and does that much damage. So if they have only, like, 10 cards in their deck, it'll only, like, do 10 damage to me instead of the, like, what, 40-something it would do normally. I still think Charbelcher is a pretty iffy matchup for Mill, but, I mean, that definitely makes this matchup a lot better. I don't need to play Crab. I can just pass and hold up my man / trap. Blood Moon? Don't care. Me and the boys out here hard casting archive traps. Is there any point going for the win here? No, especially because they have 14 cards. I mean... Oh, I can just cast Fractured Sanity. I can just hard cast that, can't I? Go to 0 cards. Say go. GG's. GG's. Sometimes I forget you can hardcast Fractured Sanity. What do you know? Anyways, thank you so much for tuning into this week's video. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit a like on this video and subscribe button down below. Twitch, Twitter, TCG Player Affiliate, TikTok, everything down below in the description. If you want to join me on Twitter, check out my hot takes. Go ahead and check that down below in the description too. And don't forget to have a great day.